Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I am always telling you that I've got a great guest. Today, I've got another great guest. I'm trying to always bring you guys value and to bring you people that I find interesting. I've got a friend who's joining me today. His name is Joe Ninehouse, and Joe is my insurance guy. He is our home and auto guy that we send our clients to. He's really got a lot of knowledge to share with you guys. He also happens to be the husband of a friend of mine that I work with, Melissa, who works with the Insight team at NEO. But he's also part of a referral networking group. We meet every week. We trust each other implicitly. We've done, we've checked everybody's references to make sure whoever we've got that they're solid individuals. And I could not be more thrilled to introduce you to Joe. But before we bring him on, please like, subscribe, hit that bell. With that said, let's get started. There we go. I'm dancing again. Dance to the I love. I don't know what it is about that song, but it makes me happy. Joe.
Hey, Barry. Thanks for having me.
So good to have you, dude. And thank you for doing this with me.
Absolutely.
Guys, Joe is one of the things that I really clicked with Joe is kind of the way that he looks at his business. He's looking for long-term relationships. Now, I know everybody says that. Everybody that I ever talk to, they always say, yeah, I love to help people and I'm looking for long-term. But, whether or not you actually go out of your way to keep and maintain those long-term relationships is really where the rubber hits the road. You guys know if you watch this these videos at all that I'm part of NEO Home Loans, and we've got a platform called the Art of Homeownership, which is a system designed to help homeowners become successful homeowners. And Joe actually used to work for the Art of Homeownership. So when I first, actually met him face to face, we were like, I know this guy. And, it turned out we had all this in common. Some of the things that I really love about Joe, the reason why I wanted to bring him on is because I think that there is a lot of things that potential homeowners or just the general population aren't aware about when it comes to to the insurance business. So before we actually get into that, I wanted to just kind of have Joe share a few minutes with you about his background and kind of what drew him to the insurance business. Joe, why don't you share it with people?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to tell there. Basically, I come from a background of investments and really wanted to be more effective in the everyday person's life. I wanted to be more helpful. And I felt like insurance was an avenue for me to help more people, help more people succeed and really kind of help educate them because, again, we all need insurance. It's the law, right? If you drive a car, own a home, rent a home, you should have some type of insurance. And so with that, I can help more people. And by doing that, I affect more people. I can grow my network and grow my relationships with those people by being as helpful and educational as possible. And, again, there's a lot of misnomers in the insurance world. There's a lot of misunderstandings. And I really kind of wanted to be that bridge to help educate my customer base on kind of what types of coverages they should have and should just avoid, and what types of situations and companies you should avoid in the insurance world. And so that's really kind of what drew me to the industry. And yeah, I'm obviously being able to sell to anyone and everyone because we all need insurance is a fantastic perk as well. So I'm not going to complain there. So again, that's really kind of what drew me. And being with Farmers Insurance has just been fantastic. I have a lot of friends in the automotive body shop industry that have had their issues with pretty much every insurance carrier in the past. And Farmers just really stood out to me as, kind of a no frills company that gives you great coverage. We're not always the cheapest, but I believe we're the most valuable. And that's really what's important. I think value is so overlooked, and it's catching on. It's catching on in 2022. People are looking for more value, and so I really feel like that's where I'm at as far as being able to offer that.
Well, that's a great point, Joe. And I think that this kind of segues into something that you and I have talked about, which is, what is value exactly? Because I'm always looking for the best deal. I'm a creature of habit, right? Like, if you see something on Amazon, you go, "Oh, can I find this somewhere cheaper?" Or you see something. One of the reasons why I love Costco, if anybody, the people that know me know I am the poster child for Costco. Like, I've been a member since 1988. One time I spent so much money at Costco that they called me up and identified me as being one of their top consumers and gave me my own private phone number with my own account executive. Wow. Where I could call and get inventory checks whenever I wanted. I bought 5 cars through Costco. I bought my wedding ring through Costco.
There you go.
For my wife. Why? Because I just know that Costco has got the best freaking deals. I mean, maybe within $1, you might go to Walmart at some point and find something a little cheaper. So this is why I keep going back. And I think this is kind of endemic of like people in general, especially in times are tough. We want good quality, but we also want to make sure that we're getting a good deal. But what I found about with insurance is that, what is a good deal exactly? Is it the lowest monthly payment? Because the lowest monthly payment isn't necessarily a good deal. If you're anything like me, like I was telling Joe, I'm guilty of it. I used to have my, insurance through Geico, and you call up and you don't know whether the person you're talking to has been in the business for a week or for 10 years. And often now you're calling them up and you're getting, somebody in the Philippines or in India. The last time I called a customer service where it was overseas like that, I'm not joking, I had like a 15-minute window to be able to get this call done. And like 12 minutes into it, the person didn't even ask me why I was calling yet. They just keep repeating my question back to me. "Oh, well, Mr. Krevoy, thank you for being a customer, and Mr. Krevoy, from what I would say something, and they would repeat the question back to me. I'm like, can we just get to the point here? And then finally I asked to be sent to a supervisor. I don't know what a good deal is. Just because it's cheaper doesn't necessarily mean it's a good deal. Am I overinsured? Am I underinsured? Is there insurance that I don't even know about? That's why a guy like Joe is so important. So I just tried to tee that up to you, Joe. Why don't you throw in your 2 cents about what I just said?
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of a good analogy, that the price of insurance versus the cost of insurance. And obviously people can be confused by that, because everyone, selfishly, me as well, we're all looking for the best rate, the cheapest deal, the lowest cost or price, of insurance on a monthly basis, or however we decide to pay. But it's not always going to be the most cost-effective option for you. And so looking at your coverages, looking at the gaps in your coverage or the lack of coverage, is really helpful in determining kind of your cost of insurance. For instance, if you just want the cheapest monthly price, they may end up, cramming a $5,000 or a $2,500 deductible to you. And then if you do get in an accident, you're out of pocket $2,500 or $5,000, where you maybe could have paid very little more on a monthly basis to end up getting $1,000 deductible or a $500 deductible, where at the end of the year, it's going to save you money. So obviously we all like to think, I'm not going to get in an accident. Those kind of things don't happen to me. But that's what insurance is for. That's why they call it an accident, because it's not something you do on purpose. So, things can happen with your homeowner's insurance where, a lot of times we're tempted just to get that higher deductible, to save on a monthly or annual basis. And a lot of times that can end up costing you in the long run. But more importantly, working with a good company that offers really a complete coverage or a complete insurance strategy with an umbrella policy and all that can really help you save money over the long haul. Because, we've all likely been in a situation where we thought something would be covered by insurance, but it just happened to not be, based on the coverages you selected in that policy. And that's really kind of the role I try to play in the insurance business is, is helping clients to make sure that they don't end up having to come out of pocket thousands of dollars because they didn't select the right coverages. And it may have cost them $6 a month more to select those coverages to avoid that, $5,000, $6,000 out of pocket expense at the end of the day. So that's kind of really where I tried to fit myself into the insurance world. I don't, of course, like I said, everybody wants to be the cheapest and get the cheapest insurance, the lowest monthly bill. But a lot of times that's counterproductive. So,
it can also work the opposite way. You look at somebody and they've got a net worth of $5 million and they've got a policy with the $500 deductible. It's like, you probably don't need a policy with the $500 deductible because you make plenty of money. But when's the last time? I can tell you, if you're out there and you have a company like a Geico or one of these other big companies where you just call a toll-free number and some random person gets on the line. When was the last time they tried to talk you into a policy that was less expensive? Where they went, how much money do you make? You probably don't need that low of a deductible. There's probably some people out there that have experienced that, but I can almost guarantee you the majority of them aren't, because that's not their job. Their job is to get you a policy and to make the most amount of money for the company that they work for. That's why having a guy like Joe who actually goes deeper into your situation, that has a relationship with you, is so important. Not to mention the fact that if, God forbid, something does happen, the last thing in the world you want to do when you have something happen, whether it's a car accident or you have a flood in your home or something like that, is call a toll-free number and get shuffled around to 5 different people that keep asking you the same questions over and over again. It's my God, I don't have time. Can you just send somebody or tell me? Having a guy like Joe that you pick, and he picks up the phone and he goes, "Hey, Barry, what's happening, brother? How can I help you?"
Right.
And not being able to direct you, that's important, right?
Yeah, not having to tell your whole story again from A to Z every single time you call because you're getting a different person on a customer service line. That's a huge factor. And that's one of the reasons I chose to be a dedicated agent, so that if you have a claim, if you get in an accident, a lot of times, or if you have a water damage at the home, a lot of times, if something is not going to be covered based on the coverages you selected, and you call in and file a claim, that claim still is going to count against you. And if you're just calling the customer service number, they're not going to instruct you one way or the other. They're just going to say, "What's the problem? Do you want to file a claim or not?" Where with having an agent, you can call me. I can walk you through. We can look at your coverages, look at what happened, tell me your story, cry on my shoulder, if you will. And then I can just instruct you whether it makes sense to file a claim or to take care of it out of pocket. And in most cases, if it's something serious where you are actually crying on my shoulder, we're going to want to file a claim and get you taken care of. But, there may be situations where it instead of it being covered as a loss, it was something due to lack of maintenance where it wouldn't be covered. And so filing that claim can actually end up costing you more on a monthly basis on your insurance, and still it may not be covered under your insurance. So having an agent to talk to, and like you said, not having to tell your whole story and 12 minutes into the call when you've got 15 minutes to spare, you're still, dealing with the same thing you called in for. So,
and you're frustrated. That's a big factor. Nothing worse than that. And the other thing also with Joe is that, I struggle to use this term because I think it's overused, but Joe's a bit of a master networker. The guy knows just about freaking everybody because of all the different things that he's managed to do in his life. Joe and I have a history together that, once we started becoming friends, we're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, we know a lot of the same people. In fact, we used to work for the same company besides Neil years ago. And, a lot of his friends were guys that I worked with. So, would you rather have a guy like Joe that you can call him and ask a question and go, hey, Joe, I need a great plumber, or I need a great, somebody to do drywall, or, just having somebody, I know I need a great loan officer.
I know a guy.
You want to have somebody like Joe, right? So, Joe is a guy that is, he it's not just about getting you the right policy. It's about creating this relationship. It's about trying to help you be successful, in whatever major or minor way that he can do that. And man, I just trust him implicitly. He's just a really good guy. If you guys need a home and auto person, or if there's anything about any insurance that he's got some of the top mentors in the country that work with him. If he doesn't know something, he can get you the answer. And I really trust him. And I encourage you guys, you see his information down here. You put a message in here. If you have any questions, maybe Joe can answer. Maybe you don't need insurance. You just want to ask him some questions. I encourage you to do that. Joe, is there anything that you'd like to say before we peel out here that you'd like somebody to take away from him?
Yeah, Barry, and one of the other things I wanted to mention, when you're dealing with a customer service number or a company where you don't have a dedicated agent, you're just calling the 800 number for service or claims, or even to get new insurance and to try to get the best price. Most of the time, they're not going to ask you the types of questions that would qualify you for a pretty massive discount in a lot of cases. Farmers offers up to a 15% discount on most of our lines of insurance for engineers, teachers, nurses, all types of different professions, real estate professionals, Barry, all types of different professionals. And if you don't ask, if the agent doesn't ask you, hey, do you have a degree? Hey, do you work as a registered nurse? Are you a certified accountant? You're never going to have the opportunity to qualify unless you're just giving that information out. And so one of the things I try to make sure I do when I talk to a new customer every single time is ask those important questions, because on a $2,000 a year policy, 15% can make or break the deal and make or break someone's budget. To be more prudent, can make or break someone's budget and give them an opportunity to put, $300 more into their family life, which is way more important than insurance, right? So, those are a couple of the reasons I think it's important to have a dedicated agent and some of the value I try to bring to my customers.
All great points, brother.
Yeah, give me a call. Like Barry said, even if you just have a question about your current insurance. There's been multiple situations where, I have friends that are very price minded. They want the absolute cheapest insurance they can get. And so instead of signing them up, I help them get better coverage with their current carrier without having to pay much more. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. Whether you go with me or not, I'm here to help. That's what it's all about. It's just,
there you go, man.
I love
and that pretty much right there is one of the biggest things I love about him. And if you know me, you know that that's also the philosophy of my team. It's like, you help enough people, it winds up coming back to you. So with that said, Joe, thank you so much for doing this, brother. I'm so looking forward to continuing this. Maybe we should check in with each other here and there, as laws change, as things start to change, we'll check in with you and see how you're doing. And in the meantime, if you want to reach out to Joe, there's his information. If you want to reach out to me, maybe talk to me about Joe, please reach out to me. You can put some messages in there, but also please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Thanks so much, Joe. Appreciate you. Everybody, I hope you guys have a great day, great week, great year.